Don't you want revenge on your enemies? Not the kind that stains your hands, but the kind that humbles them silently, the revenge of unstoppable success. Picture them watching your life while you keep quiet, then watching the scoreboard flip when you win. That silence is louder than any shout. That's the first rule. Revenge isn't violence, it's elevation. It's turning every slight, every sneer, every underestimation into fuel. Listen, if you are still asking whether revenge is justified, you haven't yet understood power. Power is measured by results, not rage. So let rage be your raw material, not your master body. Here's the second rule. Convert insult into obsession. Use every you can't as a blueprint. When someone tells you no, don't argue, build. When they laugh, make them study you. Obsession is a tool. Discipline is the craftsman. You wake before they wake. You read while they scroll. You grind while they talk. That's how you win. Don't romanticize revenge as drama. Systematize it as a lifestyle. Ask yourself, what skills will silence them for good? What money, what status, what reputation will make their opinion irrelevant? Plan it. Execute it. Repeat it until their words dissolve into background noise. Hook. Pay attention. The world rewards results, not feelings. So stop performing outrage on social media. Perform competence in the real world. Your opponent's greatest fear is not revenge. It's irrelevance. Make them irrelevant. Create such momentum that their attempts to pull you down become a footnote in your autobiography. If they thrive on your reactions, starve them. Your calm competence is a form of domination. It tells the world you are untouchable, not because you're violent, but because you're productive. Next, build a fortress of habits. Revenge through results requires architecture, ruthless time management, ferocious health, and a mind that reads the field like a general. Train your body so your mind has better options. Train your finances so your freedom has a backbone. Train your voice so when you speak, people listen. These are the weapons that never get confiscated, never fade, and never need apologies. You don't need to explain your rise. You merely need to be seen at the top. Another hook for you, embrace boredom. The people who get loud are often the ones who avoided the 12-minute grind, the 7-year repetition, the 1,000 small humiliations that build competence. Revenge is boring work applied consistently. It's showing up on hard days, laughing when the shortcut seekers give up. It's learning to be feared for competence and respected for consistency. If you want revenge that matters, bet on compound effort, not fireworks. Don't confuse pride with purpose. Pride wants to prove a point in the moment. Purpose builds a life that proves the point forever. Take every slight and convert it into a KPI. Let the numbers do the talking when they watch your bank. Balance. Your audience, your calm at awards, their best comeback will be silence. That's silence. It's victory. Finally, protect your character. Real revenge never requires lowering yourself to petty acts. The higher your standards, the more powerful your comeback. When you win with honor, you deny them a narrative that cheapens your success. They wanted you to be bitter, instead be brilliant. They wanted you to fall, instead rise so high they have to change their map to include you. Don't waste your energy trying to destroy your enemies. That's what weak men do. They get consumed by hate, by noise, by distraction. Strong men use that energy to build something unshakable. Every insult, every doubt, every rejection, every person who laughed at you, that's your power source. You're sitting on a pile of emotional dynamite, and instead of letting it explode and destroy everything around you, you can refine it into rocket fuel. When someone tells you that you'll never make it, you don't argue. You smile. Because in that moment, you've just handed you a lifetime supply of motivation. They've written your script for domination. The best revenge isn't loud, it's quiet. It doesn't happen in the heat of anger, it happens in the cold silence of progress. Revenge isn't screaming, it's building. It's transforming every you can't into I already did. Picture this: while they're wasting time talking about you, you're putting in hours that they'll never see. While they're comfortable, you're uncomfortable by choice. That's the difference between you and them. They operate from ego, you operate from hunger. And hunger wins every single time. When they thought they were breaking you, they were only preparing you. Every painful word, every failure, every door slammed in your face, those aren't setbacks, those are tests. E is quiet progress, the kind that leaves people speechless. While they're busy talking, you're calculating. While they're distracted, you're preparing. That's how you win, because when your focus is on showing instead of proving, your actions begin to carry a weight no words ever could. Silence is not weakness, it's strategy. It's what separates the amateurs from the assassins. Think about it. How many people brag about what they're going to do but never actually do it? They live for attention, not for achievement. You can't be one of them. You're built for something greater. The world doesn't reward talkers, it rewards finishers. Let your results echo in rooms where your name was never respected. When they finally realize what you've built, it will already be too late for them to catch up. Every time you work in silence, you plant a seed that will one day grow loud enough to shake the ground beneath your enemies. Sleep. Strategizing your next move. When every heartbeat whispers more, that's obsession. And that's what separates the ordinary from the unstoppable. The world tells you to balance, to relax, to slow down. But the truth is, no one remembers balanced men. They remember obsessed ones. Every champion you've ever admired wasn't normal. They lived, breathed, and bled for what they wanted. If you want to rise above, you can't flirt with success. You must marry it. Hook, ask yourself right now, are you interested or are you obsessed? Interest fades when things get hard. Obsession gets louder. Interest needs motivation. Obsession doesn't care about mood, weather, or comfort. It moves when others rest. It builds when others doubt. It doesn't ask for permission or validation. It demands progress. The reason most people never reach greatness isn't lack of talent. It's lack of obsession. They want the reward, not the grind. But obsession makes the grind the reward. It teaches you to fall in love with the process, with the pain, with the repetition that others run from. When you're obsessed, every moment becomes an opportunity. The way you eat, train, study, speak, everything starts aligning with your purpose. Distraction loses its grip. Doubt becomes fuel. You stop comparing yourself because you're too busy constructing yourself. Obsession gives you tunnel vision, the kind where nothing else exists except the target. It's the quiet madness that turns potential into power. You start to notice that your standards change. Sleep becomes strategy. Time becomes currency. Energy becomes sacred. You no longer waste effort explaining your goals to people who think small because you realize they could never understand the level of hunger that drives you. Hook, they'll call you crazy. Let them. Every obsessed person gets labeled crazy before they get called a genius. Every innovator, every world changer, every self-made success was once mocked for caring too much. But caring too much is exactly what builds empires. Obsession turns impossible into inevitable. It teaches you that while others are waiting for inspiration, you create it. While they're scrolling, you're studying. While they're sleeping, you're sharpening your edge. That's how you pull ahead, not through luck, but through relentless repetition. You build such an unbreakable rhythm that quitting stops being an option. Obsession isn't about chaos, it's about control. It's not wild energy, it's focused intensity. It's you telling yourself, I will not stop until this is real. The human mind is designed to adapt, to evolve under consistent pressure. When you apply that pressure daily, when you push your limits until they break and rebuild stronger, your whole identity changes. You no longer just do the work, you become the work. The version of you that once sought approval disappears. In its place stands a machine of discipline, clarity, and purpose. Hook, think about this. The obsessed never chase motivation, they become motivation. People watch them and feel the weight of their commitment. Their presence alone inspires. Why? Because obsession radiates. It commands respect without words. When you walk into a room and your energy says, I'm built for this, people can feel it. They know they're looking at someone who refuses to lose. That's not arrogance, that's mastery. You've paid the price in time, effort, and sleepless nights. You've earned that aura. Every great success story you know started with a person who became possessed by their purpose. They didn't care about convenience. They didn't wait for perfect conditions. They went all in. And that's what obsession demands, all or nothing. Because halfway effort produces halfway results. If you want to silence your critics, destroy your excuses, and build a life that makes noise without words, obsession is the only way. It's not a phase, it's a mindset. It's the quiet promise you make to yourself that you will not stop, you will not rest. And you will not quit until you've turned your vision into your reality. That's how empires are built. That's how legacies are born. Through pure, relentless, unapologetic obsession, discipline is the line that separates those who dream from those who achieve. Emotions are temporary. They rise and fall like waves, but discipline is the tide that never retreats. You can't build an empire on feelings because feelings lie. Some days you'll feel unstoppable, other days you'll feel empty, but the work must remain the same. Winners understand that success is not built on motivation, it's built on consistency. You don't go to war only when you feel brave, you go to war because the mission demands it. That's the difference between those who wish and those who win. Discipline isn't glamorous, but it's undefeated. It's the silent force behind every triumph, the invisible backbone that keeps you standing when the world tries to knock you down. Hook, feelings scream for comfort. Discipline whispers keep going. And the whisper always wins, because the truth is nobody cares how you feel. They care about what you produce. Your emotions can be an enemy disguised as honesty. They'll tell you that you deserve rest, that you've done enough, that it's okay to take it easy. But discipline looks you dead in the eye and says, not yet. Discipline is loyalty to your purpose. Even when the fire burns low, it's waking up before dawn when the bed feels like heaven and your dreams feel like duty. It's showing up when no one's watching, when there's no applause, when the grind feels heavier than usual. That's where strength is born. In the moments no one sees, in the decisions no one applauds. Discipline means you do what you said you'd do long after the excitement fades. It's not about intensity for a day, it's about persistence for years. The world is full of people who start strong and quit quietly. Don't be one of them. Be the one who finishes no matter the cost. Discipline makes you dangerous because it turns you into a machine of momentum. While others wait for motivation, you're already moving. While they complain, you're adapting. While they hesitate, you've already executed. That's what discipline does. It removes hesitation. It replaces doubt with direction. It gives you control in a world that's built on distraction. Hook, remember this, discipline is the ultimate revenge against weakness. When you stay consistent, every lazy version of you dies a little more each day. Every time you choose work over comfort, growth over ease, strength over softness, you become a threat, not to others, but to your former self, the one who made excuses. Every rep in the gym, every page you read, every dollar you invest, every goal you pursue, even when it's hard, is a message to your old self. You don't control me anymore. That's power. That's self-respect. People confuse discipline with restriction, but it's the opposite. Discipline isn't a cage, it's a key. It unlocks freedom because it gives you control over your impulses. Without discipline, you're a slave to comfort, pleasure, and emotion. With discipline, you become the master of them all. It's what allows you to say no when the world tempts you to settle. It gives you the strength to delay gratification now, so you can live with abundance later. The disciplined man doesn't need to prove himself. His actions prove him every single day. Hook, discipline doesn't shout, it accumulates. It's invisible today, but undeniable tomorrow. That's why it's so powerful. It compounds. The small decisions you make daily, the consistent actions you repeat, even when you don't feel like it, stack up until one day people call you lucky. But luck is just discipline with time. The body, the business, the mindset. They're all built on the same principle. You do what's required, not what's convenient. You honor your word, even when no one's holding you accountable. You execute, even when the results are slow. Every successful person has one thing in common. They mastered themselves before they mastered anything else. They learned to do the work whether they were inspired or not. Because when you control your actions, you control your outcomes. The man who conquers himself has nothing left to fear. When you become disciplined, you stop chasing motivation and start creating motion. You stop being emotional about progress and start being intentional about it. You don't need the world to believe in you. You just need to keep your word to yourself. Discipline is the quiet promise that you'll do what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel. That's how legacies are built. That's how greatness is maintained. Through pure, unshakable, emotionless discipline, there is no louder revenge than undeniable success. You don't argue with your doubters. You don't try to prove them wrong with words. You prove them wrong by existing on a level they'll never touch. Every time you rise, every time you level up, every time your name appears where they said it never would. That's the sweetest form of revenge, because success humiliates quietly. It doesn't need to shout or explain. It makes people who once doubted you choke on their own disbelief. You want revenge? Outgrow them, outperform them, outlast them. The day they realize you no longer care about their validation is the day you win. Your success becomes a mirror, and when they look into it, all they see is the reflection of their own limits. Hook, imagine that moment when the people who once dismissed you have to sit in the audience while you take the stage, when they have to clap for the very person they once mocked, when they scroll through your achievements pretending not to care, but deep down they're burning with regret. That's what you're working for, not to impress them, but to expose them. Success exposes the truth. It shows who had vision and who had fear, who believed and who doubted. It's the quiet justice that time delivers to those who never quit. You don't need to get angry when someone underestimates you. Let them. Underestimation is a gift. It keeps you underestimated until it's too late for them to catch up. Let them think you're average. While you're stacking wins in the dark, let them talk while you build. Because the moment you succeed, they'll realize they were part of your motivation all along. You used their doubt as fuel. You used their laughter as rhythm. Every negative word became a brick in your foundation. That's how powerful people operate. They take every insult personally, but turn every insult into progress. Hook, success is the ultimate silence breaker. When your results start speaking, the noise around you disappears. You don't have to defend yourself anymore. You don't have to explain your worth. The world bends to results, not excuses. When you walk into a room with confidence that's been earned through years of work, even your enemies have no choice but to respect it. That's what real revenge feels like. Not victory through confrontation, but victory through evolution. You became something they can't compete with. You rose so high that even if they tried to pull you down, they wouldn't reach you. Success isn't just about money or fame. It's about peace. The kind of peace that comes when you no longer need to prove anything to anyone. You know who you are and your life reflects it. The irony is, when you stop chasing approval, you start attracting admiration. The same people who once mocked you will start asking for advice. The same people who look down on you will start looking up, but you won't even notice because you'll be too focused on the next level. That's the secret. Success isn't about revenge anymore. It becomes a natural consequence of self-mastery. Hook, let them watch. You weren't willing to make. You didn't get lucky. You got focused. You didn't stumble into success. You engineered it. That's why it hurts them. They had the same 24 hours, the same opportunities, the same world, but they chose comfort, and you chose conquest. Every great comeback story starts with a period of silence, doubt, and isolation. That's where you're being built. Every laugh behind your back, every rejection, every failure is part of your fuel. When you finally succeed, they'll act surprised, but you'll know it wasn't sudden. It was inevitable. You were never competing with them. You were competing with who you were yesterday. And now that version of you is gone, replaced by someone who doesn't need to speak because results speak louder than revenge ever could. So keep moving, keep building, keep winning. Every accomplishment is a message to your doubters. You tried to stop me, but you only made me stronger. Let your success be the conversation they can't escape. Let it echo in the rooms you were once excluded from. You don't need to destroy your enemies. Just succeed so completely that they destroy themselves, trying to figure out how you did it. That's the kind of revenge that lasts forever. So don't you want revenge on your enemies? Yes, but let it be the kind that works in decades, not minutes. Let it be the quiet, total, inevitable kind that arrives as a result of obsession, structure, and integrity. Wake up, plan, execute, repeat. When they ask how you did it, smile and let the outcome answer. That's the revenge that stays. That's the revenge that matters. Now go build it.